And as far as, you know, grants that are out there, one of the questions is, I'm not aware of what grants are out there that we can apply for the school district. But you know what? I know Bill Gates has got an awful lot of money. I can't imagine we haven't got something that we can apply for from the Bill Gates Foundation somewhere. With early childhood education, English as a second language, there's got to be something from that pile of money somewhere. There's got to be money from all over that we could apply for from grants. Do we have adequate grant writers? Do we have somewhere where we could send somebody about grant writing? I'd love to do grant writing. I think it'd be fun. So, but you know, those are a couple of the things. But the biggest thing is, if you start talking about the school funding and selling off properties that the school district has, that's one-time monies. Monies that go away, and you might not have the facility that you might need in the future.
I'm not presenting to the others, so go for it.
Okay.
Okay.
I would be open to any and all reasonable suggestions. And what I'm hearing is collaboration with our communities, with all of our resources that we can use. And talking about priorities, I really feel we need to protect our class sizes. I really feel we need principals in our elementary schools. Those people have taken on a bigger burden without the counselors there. They now are our kids' counselors. These children come to school with a lot more baggage than they have in the past. And there's a big need for our principals. That's it, Mona.
Okay, you're awesome. It's really high tech that I've got here. Now it's trying not to go to zero. That's what I'm like. It wants to give you all the time in the world to speak, and I'm not going to let you.
Says the turkey's done.
Says the turkey's done.
There's a better app for this.
This is hilarious. I haven't done this the whole time. Yeah. Okay. Whew, that was hard work. Okay, so since we don't be here all night or whatever, so we're gonna have a minute at the most, and the first question is gonna be relatively easy, so I may give you about 30 seconds. We'll see. I'm not gonna try and push this because you know what would happen. There are numerous questions. We're not even going to be able to touch them, so we've just pulled out 4 of them. They're all pretty diverse. So I believe, Preston, you are first up this time. So the question to everyone would be, who do board members report to? Preston.
The board members report to?
Yes.
I suppose it depends on what they have been asked to do. For example, they could be reporting back to the board if they got it on committee assignment. They could be reporting back to the community if they're answering questions, or if they've done a research issue, or if they're reporting to the community, because we, as board members, are supposed to be stewards of the community's funds. We're supposed to be stewards for our community's kids. So that's who our constituents are as board members, I believe. It's the community at large.
Thank you. Gotta love me. You're on.
Can we go this way now?
We are.
Rule change, rule change.
You're running out of time, Steve.
Available to Mona.
Sorry, wait, let me give him his time because I threw that in there.
Good answer, she just gave you another minute.
We're going to go this direction currently. I'm going to change it up for this question. Steve, love, you are next.
I guess I would say these are public offices, so we're accountable to the public. I guess that's simple.
All right, Mary.
Board members would report to the board and to the public.
Same thing they have. I've had people being on the bond committee ask me questions, and I've contacted the people that I knew that would have the answer, and I got back to them. So the public asks me a question, if I can, I need to give them an answer. If they've asked me a question, or I need to give them an explanation of why I can't answer them. So, you know, you answer to the public and you answer to the board if you're doing a board project or whatever.
You don't need to set the timer.
Same answer.
I like this
Good answer.
consistency. It was consistent, wasn't it? I like that one. I knew that one would be easier to start with. Since I thought this was a great, meeting this machine, we're having some issues.
Mona, how much time do you want him to have?
I'm gonna tell them, though, we're
on the wall. I got it right here, Mona, you just tell me how much time.
we're gonna
okay?
give them a minute.
Got
Are
it,
you ready?
ready when
Okay.
they are.
All right, and I'll warn Steve Love that he is going to be first this time. Since each of you have talked about this and it is a key time, I think this is a great question. The question is, what process should be used to hire a new superintendent? Be specific. Steve.
Well, this is how I would do it and have done it in my professional career. I would write a position plan. I would form a committee. I would work with the committee to develop a criteria that we would use in the selection process. I would do informational interviewing, drawing upon, specifically looking for real-life experiences in the areas that we're looking for specific traits. Drawing, not come in and just show me your resume, but I want to hear how you handled a specific similar situation. I would then convene that committee and tally up the results. And then at that point, I'm not sure what the board processes are, but
10 seconds.
but I assume in this case, the board would make a decision based upon that committee's feedback.
All right, and so we'll go this way. So Mary.
I think developing the committee is a real important plan. And we need a really diverse committee. And then maybe a visitation, if that person is employed, to the district that person's in, and get some feedback from his school or wherever he's at, or she's at.
All right, she's honest. Steve.
I got this one.
Yeah.
Don't invent the wheel. You just had WESD go through and hire the director there. You had City of Salem. You've got the past superintendent. Have that committee look at that document and pick out what you want. Have some of your administrators on that committee, because these people have to work with them. Why aren't the teachers having a say in it? And have somebody from the public out there, okay? And talking to the people that they've been involved with is important. I was picking a resident firefighter one time, and I checked on a kid that was from another state, and I called the firehouse that he worked at. And I had a company officer, after he talked to me, he says, if you hire that kid, that'll be the worst mistake you've made this year. But, you know, I would have never found that out if I hadn't checked on him, you know? And,
10
you know,
seconds.
you gotta go and check on these folks. You know, you have to do that. You need to speak up about it and talk to them and let the people pick. So.
Thank you. All right, Kathy.
First thing I'd say is we have to take the time to do it right. And that includes making sure that we review the position description. Gather input from basically all the stakeholders. The folks who are going to work under them, the community people, the teachers, everyone who's involved. And then, as Steve said, you go through that process. We don't need to reinvent the wheel, whatever that process is and the timeline involved with that. Really assure that you have as much buy-in from as many different people as you can.
Preston.
Yeah, and I think implied in all the answers is it's gotta be an open process. Everyone's gotta know what's going on every step of the way. The board, again, can't and shouldn't make a decision on their own, because we're representatives of a much larger group, so we need input from everywhere.
All right, my beautiful time woman, we'll make one that's just a little bit more lighthearted here. And see Steve, so it's good. Mary, you are up next. Okay. Are you willing as a board buddy to actually talk with classified and certified staff in the schools rather than read notes from parent club meetings?
You bet. And I do it every week when I go into school.
That was nice and precise.
That's it?
Yes.
I like talking to the teachers, I like talking to the principals. I talk to Mr. Tillery at every chance I have an opportunity. So of course, my kids were going to IES, so that's probably my favorite place to go talk to teachers. But yeah, it's important to talk to them. You know, if I have a question, I go, how is this budget affecting you? You know, and he was very straightforward with his answers to it. So.
Like Mary said, you bet, because I do. One of the great joys of being a board member is the Board Buddy program, I think, and it's been great for me to learn. Provides an opportunity for folks to feel, I hope, comfortable in giving us feedback about things. And I really hope that we continue to do it because it's a very valuable way to open up communication, and that's necessary.
Yeah, I was gonna say similar things. It's more than just going and having fun and getting to know people. It's allowing them to give you feedback in a less formal setting. It's really tough for some people to speak up in a board meeting or to even get on and write an email or think they're making a complaint. But if you can get with someone talking informally, you're gonna really find out what they think.
I guess I'm gonna answer differently. I've watched the school board do this over the last several months, and I think it's generating a credibility issue for the school board. I don't think it's working as intended. I mean, I would personally rather see kids be given the opportunity to come in. And if all we're doing is talking about the upcoming events, then give the kids the opportunity to come in and actually have a public speaking appearance or opportunity. So this is one of the areas I'd like to revisit. What's the purpose of it? If it's to go and talk to the principal and get specific feedback around the budget, well, maybe that's a specific program where we go and we have a set of questions that we all consistently sit down and review with the principals and really understand what's going on. As it's been rolled out, I don't understand the purpose. So I would revisit it, I guess, and if there is a good purpose, I'd be willing to do it. But I want to make sure that my time is well spent and that it's going to be part of some process that it's feeding into.
And so we'll have one, and then we'll let them all have a minute to recap so that we can have some informal time. And you'll be the first one to start on this. I just wanted to prepare you. Like looking at me. So by one international assessment, America's educational system ranks 21st in the world based upon testing given to 10th graders. What would you do to change this, to connect this? Steve?
Say it again.
By one, and so we're never gonna, research can say many things, but this is a good example. By one international assessment, America's educational system ranks 21st in the world based upon testing.